Hello there, welcome to my YouTube channel Analytics 10x. Today we will learn how to plot a bar chart in Python with simple date manipulation. So let's get started. So let's import the required libraries. We will be using Pandas for data analysis. We will be using the datetime library for date manipulation. And at the end we will be using matplot library for plotting the bar chart. So let's run this piece of code. So it's done. So the next step is to load the dataset. I have placed the data file in the same folder, so that's why I am not pasting the whole path of my file here. I'm just pasting the name of my file. So let's create a data frame by loading my data into the data frame. For this I am using the command pd.read_csv, that is loading the CSV file, the data from that CSV file into my data frame that is named as df. Once we have loaded the dataset into our data frame, our next step would be to inspect that dataset to see what are the entries, columns and rows in that data. So as a sample, we would inspect the first 10 rows in that data frame. For that, we would be using the command df.head, and we would be writing the count of rows in the parentheses that we are intended to show. So here the first 10 rows of the data are printed below. We can see that there are three columns in the dataset. First is the date entries, second is the number of strikes. These are the number of lightning strikes, and the third is the geolocation of that strike. Now let's check the shape of the data so that we would get an idea about the size of the data. So for this purpose, we would be using the df.shape command. I have written print in df.shape. So it's printing out that there are, you can see that 34010112. This is the count of the rows, and comma 3, and 3 is the count of the column. The next and the most important step in our data analysis is to get information about our data, that is the data types of the columns in the data. For this purpose, I'm using df.info command. So let's run this command. We can see the first column, that is date, its data type is object, that it is strings. It is not in the form of date type, so we would be needing to convert this string type, this object string type, into date time data type for further date manipulation. Second is the number of strikes, and its data type is integer. And third is the center point geom, which is the geolocation of the point where the lightning strike did happen. So its data type is also string. Let's advance by converting the string type date column into the date time data type. So for that purpose, we are using the to underscore date time function of the pandas to convert the string type dates into the date time dates. So I have written the command here. In fact, we are transforming the existing date column. That's why I have written the df into date equal to pd dot to underscore date time into df and the existing date column. So after running this command, we are checking the updated data type of the date column. So for that purpose, I have again used the df.info command. So here you can see that the date column of the data frame has been successfully converted into date time data type. Since we have converted the string type dates into the date time data types, now let's calculate the top 10 days with the most lightning strikes. For that purpose, I have just chosen the two columns, dates and the number of strikes, and we would be grouping the data with respect to the date. Aggregation function is summation because we want to calculate the top 10 days with respect to the lightning strikes. Since we are sorting the data ascending order, that's why we have written the false in the ascending parameter. And at the end, I am using the head 10 command because we are selecting the top 10 days. Now we intend to summarize the data with respect to the months. For that purpose, we need to create a column with the month name and month number. First, we are creating the column with the month number. For that purpose, we have a simple function that would be extracting the month number from the date time data type. So look at this command, df month equal to df date dot dt dot month. That is extracting the month number from the date time data type. And we can see that another column with the name month has been added to the data. Let's calculate the total number of strikes per month. For that purpose, again I have chosen just the two columns, month and the number of strikes. Now here we are grouping the data with respect to the month, again applying the sum aggregation function, sorting the values in the descending order as per the number of strikes. Note, I am not using the head command here, so I don't have plenty of rows here which I need to limit. Now extract the name of the month. So for that purpose, we are again creating a new column with the name month underscore txt. For that, we would be using dt.month underscore name. That would be extracting the month name from the datetime data type. We are not interested in showing the full name of the month here, so we are slicing the first three characters from the name of the month. You can see that the month underscore txt has been added to the data frame. So we will be using this data frame for our final step, that is plotting the bar chart. So that's why we are creating a new helper data frame for plotting as well. So we would be grouping our dataset with respect to the month name. There is another thing. I have used the reset dot underscore index function. I would be explaining this at the end of this exercise. So you can see that we have aggregated the number of strikes on the basis of our months in a year. Let's move ahead towards the final step, that is plotting the bar chart of the lightning strikes data based on months of the year 2018. So plt.bar with the first parameter, that is the data on the x-axis, that is the month. We are using the month name here, month underscore txt column. The second parameter, height, the data that is needed to be placed on the y-axis, that is the number of strikes, and the label, that is number of strikes. Plt.plot command is used to plot this information in the graph. Plt.xlabel, that is the label of the x-axis. Plt.ylabel, that is the label of the y-axis. Plt.title, that is the title of our chart. And plt.legend, that is used to show the legend. And plt.show to show the whole bar graph in the output window. So from this visualization, we can easily observe that August is the month with the most number of lightning strikes. So this was the simple example of plotting the number of lightning strikes with respect to the months. So with the help of this visualization, we can easily identify the month with the most number of lightning strikes in a single go. Why did we use this reset dot index here? So if I remove this and run this code, we can observe the structure of this data. And with this structure of data, if I try to plot my bar chart, I get an error. So for plotting the bar chart, all the columns must be aligned. So for this purpose, we have used the reset.index command. So again, by using the reset.index command, we have restructured our data frame. And if we now try to plot the bar chart, we are successful. Thank you for watching this tutorial. If you found this video useful, please hit like button, share this content, and do subscribe this channel. Thank you.